Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk. I am Juju and coming to you live this evening. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. And get comfortable and let us prepare for another enlightening discussion. So, come on in, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you come in, like I always say, tell me hi. Let me know that you're here. Give me a hello. Let me know that you're out there. And then also, if you don't mind, if you would please like and share the video, that would be awesome. Come on in. We have a very exciting show planned for tonight with some special guests that's coming. So I'm very excited about what's going on. Hello, Duchess. Hello, Derek Thomas. How are you doing? Welcome, you guys, to Let's Talk. Thank you for joining me tonight. We are indeed going to have a very exciting and enlightening discussion. I am very excited about it. It's an opportunity for all of us to learn and to share, to ask questions about various cultures and our neighbors and get to know everyone just a little bit better. Hello, Miss Marshine Cooper Gordon. How are you doing? Hello, Jasmine. How are you doing? Are you ready for our conversation? I am. I am. I'm ready. I'm ready to learn, and all of us can learn about one another and realize really that we have more in common than we think we do. There's more that unites us than divides us. We just have to focus on the things that unite us. We are so accustomed to focusing on our differences and as opposed to our similarities. We try to find things to separate us instead of things that unify us. So tonight I'm excited about learning about Native American heritage and the things that we all have in common and just some facts that we might not have known um, about Native Americans and their contributions to this great country of ours. So come on in. Like I said, when you get in, let me know you're here. And also like and share this video. Like and share the video. Let your friends know that we're here so they can join in on the conversation. Hello, Mr. Jackson. How are you doing today? It is so awesome to see you here, of course. I see you still have I see you still have your 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 profile picture. You still have your same profile picture. How are you doing today, Mr. Jackson?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous as usual. Fabulous as
Wonderful.
usual.
Wonderful.
Um, it's been a pretty good day. As a matter of fact, it's been a great day. I won't say a pretty good day. We had an awesome worship service. And then your friend Duchess cooked us some liver and gravy. Don't get that often. Love it, love it, love it. Don't get it often. So she cooked us some today. Hello, Tracy Ware. Hello, Darlene Todd. How's everybody doing today? Thank you guys so much for joining. I am so happy that you thought it not robbery to drop in
Child,
with us to join in this discussion tonight. What did you say,
I
Mr.
just say,
Jackson?
child. You took the words from your minister, from your pastor.
Oh, really? Oh,
I thought it not robbery.
yes,
Yes. That's
yes. I
another
thought it not
famous
robbery.
saying. That's one of her famous things, and I love it.
Hello, Miss Arnetta Thomas Leverett. Did you get the video I sent you? Did you see anything you like, or did you need me to make you something else? Just holler at me. Let me know. And I'm sorry, I can't do much with this dress. It is what it is. The girls are just out tonight. They want to have fun. Okay. Hey, girls who want to
Look,
have fun. Hello,
look,
Miss Tiffany Williams. Jasmine, I see you on here. If you're on your computer, I need for you to do on your cell phone because I don't see you on my list of people that I can invite into the show. So if you're on your computer or iPad or anything like that, I need you to get on your cell phone. That way I can join. But anyway, it is 7 o'clock p.m. and we're going to go ahead and get started for the evening. As we know, welcome to this edition of Let's Talk. I am your host, Juju, and I am coming to you guys live tonight from my living room. Uh, of course, Let's Talk is produced by my dear brother and friend, Mr. Jerry Jackson, who I love so dearly. He gives me a hard time, but he's always 10 toes down. He's always 10 toes down for me. Hello, everybody. There is so much for us to talk about. We're going to get right to it. But first, me remind you that Let's Talk is not intended to be a news show, but we will try our best to steer clear of gossip and things that are knowingly untrue. It is my sincere hope that you guys find this a safe space where you feel comfortable sharing your opinions and asking your questions. All that being said, let's talk. November is Native American History Month, and so we are going to dedicate tonight's show to the celebration of Native American culture and all of their contributions to this nation. Now, according to archaeologists, Native Americans began migrating to what is now the United States over 20,000 years ago. And they continued migrating for approximately 8,000 years. So they stopped migrating about 12,000 years ago. And just to put that in perspective, Christopher Columbus arrived in America in 1492. That was 532 years ago. So 12,000 years, 500 years. So needless to say, Christopher Columbus did not discover America. Okay, so that's thing one little myth we want to set straight. You can't come to my house and say, "Ooh, I found me a new house to live in. I discovered a place to live when I was already living here." Okay? Okay. Try that if you will. But anyway, so we just want to clear that up from the beginning. Native Americans had been here for thousands and thousands of years prior to Christopher Columbus' arrival. Um, there are also 574 recognized tribes in America, so there are lots and lots of different tribes of Indians. They have different cultures, they have different beliefs, they have different practices, different ideas, and there are different sovereignties. Okay, so there are 574 recognized tribes in the United States. Alabama has one recognized tribe, and that is the Porch Band of Creek Indians. And so that is the federally recognized tribe of Indians in Alabama. All righty, okay. And during my research for this show, I learned so many facts that I didn't know. And because of the way that American history is taught in our schools, um, we have a lot of holes in our history and some misinformation, some disinformation. So we want to try to clear that up. And so, of course, we want to make sure that we research things and that we do our own research and that we share these things that we learn the truth with others. As I always say, knowledge is power. Okay, we're not trying to make anybody feel bad or look bad or anything. We just want truth. What does that? The truth shall set you free, and we need to be set free of some things. All righty, and I'm just so glad to see everybody out here tonight. And if you don't mind, will you like and share this video for me? If you're on with me, like and share the video. Hello, I just see so many of my friends. Miss Annie Jones is here. Starlet Calloway is here. Tiffany Williams is here. Just so many others. So so tonight I am excited. We have two guests who are going to share some information about Native American culture with us. We have Mr. Tyler Hayes, and he is Native American. And then we have his wife, Jasmine Hayes. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please post them on the chat, and we will do our best to respond to them all. Mr. Jackson, did you have anything? Because I'm going to bring, and I think see if I can bring, let me see if Jasmine and Tyler, if I can see them.
She said she was on her phone, so
Okay, let's
make
see. Okay.
Jasmine, make sure that you log off your computer and then log on the phone.
Okay. Okay. So I think we'll be able to get them on. But um, so there are, like I said, a lot of misinformation, misconceptions about Native Americans, and we want to clear some of that up. We want to celebrate their many contributions to this nation. I was reading one thing, and it said that when the early Europeans first encountered the Native Americans when they came to the United States, that they they are they were so impressed, the Europeans were so impressed by the achievements of the Native Americans that they encountered, that they began to make up stories about them being descendants of the ancient Phoenicians, Phoenicians, traders, or a lost tribe of Israel in an effort to explain their technological prowess. So they were very technologically savvy, and so we just
So
want to
Julia,
celebrate them. Okay, I'm trying again.
Julia,
There they go. There's Jasmine and Tyler. Hey,
oh,
guys.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Jasmine.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
so
Okay, now.
Julia, before we get started,
Mhm.
I just wanted to um, say my gratitude and appreciation for having such special guests on our show this evening because there's so much misinformation when it comes to Native
Right.
American heritage as well as African American heritage. And I'm so glad that we have a guest here that's going to set the record straight and educate us and inform us. And we're super excited to have both of you. So thank you for joining. And we're excited for the um, the conversation and the information and the education. Welcome aboard.
Of course.
Exactly.
Thank
You. Thank you for helping spread
Exactly.
the word.
Yes, yes. And I always say, and Jasmine and I had this conversation, and like I said, I'm not trying to this is a celebration, but I think that the only people who could begin to who can kind of really understand African American plight in the United States are Native Americans, and I think we are, the both of us have had some really rough experiences. Our ancestors had some really rough experiences in these United States, and we still sometimes continue to encounter those. So it's kind of a kindred spirit as far as I am concerned. But anyway, so Tyler, you're Native American, right? And
you.
wait, let me get it straight, because when I was doing my research,
Mm-hmm.
okay, uh, the people were each site I went on told me that I was not being politically correct. So some say American Indians is the correct term. Some say Native Americans. Some say indigenous people. So how do you like to be addressed?
Um, for me personally, I prefer Native Americans.
Okay.
I don't know that there's necessarily a proper term because some people will say we prefer to be called Indigenous Americans or American Indians or Native Americans, and the
Mm-hmm.
being called Indian is offensive.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but we have this food and stuff like that called Indian tacos. So
Okay.
we call ourselves Indians a lot, but I think it just depends on the person and the tribe that you talk to. But me
Okay.
myself, I prefer Native Americans. I think that's the
Okay.
more appropriate term.
That's the more appropriate term. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to use the appropriate term because, like I said, it was some would say American Indians is the appropriate term, and then some said Native Americans, then some said indigenous
Yeah.
peoples. So anyway, we will go with Native Americans. All right. So now you are a Native American, correct, Tyler?
Yes.
Okay. And what tribe? And I know there, like I read that there are 574 identified or recognized
Hmm.
tribes in the United States. So what particular tribe or tribal nation are you from?
I'm actually part of the Ho Chunk, formerly known as the Winnebago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky enough to be part of the Ho Chunk, which is one of the recognized tribes, because
Okay.
there are a lot of Native Americans out there who aren't lucky enough to be recognized as they are Native American. They have it in their blood, but they're not part of a recognized tribe.
Okay. Okay. And where's the area that your tribal nation populates? What area is that in?
They're out of the northern part, like Wisconsin is part of it, Missouri, Illinois, that more like kind of like northeastern, middle northeastern part.
Iowa, some.
Yeah.
Some in out. Okay, okay. And so do they have reservations? Is and let me make sure that's correct term too. Do they have reservations
Ye-
in all these
Yes.
different areas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. So can you explain to me exactly or to us exactly what a reservation is? What is that? What does it constitute?
So a reservation is basically like it's land that was given to Native Americans that Native Americans use it for housing properties more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Sadly, you can kind of, like you said, like Native Americans and Africans have very kind of similar circumstances. Um, like kind of like project areas is kind of like if you think of that, that's a lot of what reservations are like. It's a lot of housing, you know, I don't know the correct term, but it's basically built like that. It's land that was given to Native Americans, and we just build low income housings on it. Really.
Okay. And I saw in my research how the United States, down through the years, signed so many treaties
Hmm.
um, with Native Americans. And in these treaties, the Native Americans were given some land, but a lot of it was taken back.
So
Yeah.
just to add to what Tyler was saying, generally speaking, when you say reservation, I think Tyler mentioned it's land that was given to us. Really, it's land that was the little bit of land that wasn't taken when the treaty
Taken
was
away.
signed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. And so now on reservations, um, th- Native Americans have their own like legal systems, right? And their own like
So
uh school systems and all of the okay.
so it's so technically Native American, like they do have their own legal systems and electics and electorals and stuff like that, but it's not just on the reservation. So I am considered a citizen of three different places. I'm considered a citizen of Alabama, a citizen of the United States, and a citizen of the Ho Chunk Nation. So
Okay.
regardless of where I live, no matter what, I will always be a citizen of my tribe.
Okay.
So that's for
Okay.
people who are on the res and off the res.
Okay. 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 And so I know that recognized tribes have tribal sovereignty, the reservations. So what is that? Is that like a state or is it like their own nation? I mean, what is it? It's like a own state or
It's the way that I would kind of put it is we are supposed to be recognized as our own nation. We are the
own
Ho Chunk.
nation.
Yes, we
Okay.
are the Ho Chunk Nation. That is who we
Okay.
are. That is our people.
Okay.
So it'd be more like that than like a state of affairs. Though similar to some, there are some nations will get together and they'll. What was it? It was lacrosse. I think Native Americans, a few tribes. I'm not sure which ones, but they had teamed up and formed like a lacrosse team. There was
Okay.
another few tribes that share hunting land with
Hmm.
one another. So in that regard, like the nations will work together with one another when it comes to like distributing resources or land or working together.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I know you guys had some stuff that you wanted to emphasize. So just give us a brief history of Native Americans in the United States.
So it's said in theory, people say that, there was a land bridge. Let me see, I wrote it down. The Bering Strait land bridge, and it was in the first ice age, and it connected Russia and Alaska.
Last, uh-huh.
So that's
Hmm.
people's theory on how the natives got here.
Right.
However, the natives have been here at least from the first ice age on, but it could have been a lot longer. There's really no,
Okay.
direct time link, just because it was so long ago. And so much had
Hmm.
happened, especially when the Europeans landed.
Hmm.
And then in the 15th century, we know the Europeans landed. They spread like disease, conflict. There was a lot of displacement, loss of traditions, land, just, a lot of that stuff, which has kind of made it hard. But it's another feat that we've overcome.
Hmm.
Um, yes, and then they were called Paleo Indians. And then in the 15th century, we kind of all got renamed and it kind of just all got mixed up. Tyler mentioned earlier, the Ho-Chunk are from the Winnebago.
Hmm.
Ho-Chunk actually came first. Winnebago was never a native name. It was a name that the Europeans had given us.
Okay. 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 And so let me see, Mr. Jackson, I see we have a lot of questions.
Yes,
Um
we do.
okay.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
let me, if you don't mind, let me go ahead and start with a few. One question is a true or false. Is it true that certain tribes are similar to Jamaicans when it comes to cutting hair?
Um,
So what is the Jamaica? I'm not
They don't
I,
cut their
familiar.
hair.
I,
Yeah.
well, I think maybe is there a myth or can dispel a myth? Is there anything about cutting of hair when it comes to Native Americans? I don't know what
Like
the model is for Jamaicans. Maybe Adriel,
bad
if you could
luck or
put.
something like that. They don't cut their hair.
Okay, I'm not sure. Adriel says they don't believe in cutting their locks.
They-
The Jamaicans.
Right. They don't believe in cutting their hair. Uh-huh.
so it's I guess kind of similar, but there's a different reason for Native Americans to grow their hair out.
Mm-hmm.
Natives usually grow their hair out because it's a spiritual thing. It connects us to the land. Our three braids actually represent mind, body, and spirit, and it is what
Okay.
actually connects us to the land. Most natives won't cut their hair, and if they ever cut their hair, it's either they do it themselves or someone who's very trusted
Oh,
to cut their hair
okay.
for them.
Okay.
And the only reason for most natives for most natives to cut their hair would be like a form of renewal. So it would
Okay.
be, say, you had a family member pass away and
Mm-hmm.
it affected you deeply. You had to go through something. You would cut your hair to represent like you passing on from one chapter of your life into a totally new chapter of your life.
Okay. Okay.
And you would normally keep your hair braided and cut it as it's braided.
Okay. All right. And so that's very interesting. So the three different strands of the plait represent mind, body, and soul.
Yes, mind, body, and spirit.
Okay.
Yes.
Mind, body, and spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
We have another question. Are there still nomadic Native American tribes, or has that diminished now because of the introduction of reservations?
Um, I can't speak entirely, but from my knowledge, I don't believe that there are really any nomadic nations that still exist. Most people who are, given back their land, most nations that were given back their land, stay on their land and live their lives and operate their nations through that.
Great,
And
thank you.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
all right. So is that where hair holds memories comes from in the Native American culture?
Yes, because it's actually that your hair is living alongside you and it's retaining all of your experiences and who you are. So that's why you cut it. You're basically cutting away like all of the old stuff that made you who you are and you're growing out all of your new experiences for the next chapter.
okay.
Wow. One more question, and then we'll move on. What determines the tribe and whether you are associated with a certain tribe?
So for most tribes it's blood related.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like what's in your DNA, where'd you come from, your family, your bloodline, and everything like that. Most Native
Mm-hmm.
Americans actually keep track of their lines, their bloodlines through their different clans. So
Okay.
I would be part of. We have, I think,
12.
yeah, we have 12 different clans that we're part of, and we keep track of the different families and the different bloodlines that are in within each one of those clans, and that's what
Okay.
determines like what makes you native and not.
So
It
think of like each clan as like one big like family.
Family.
Yeah.
And so you have just a big family tree to know. And so do you have to be a part of a clan in order to go on their reservation?
Um.
You
I
mean like to live on it or just
Just even to visit. I mean, I'm sure to live there you have to be right.
uh
yeah.
Yes, to live there, you have to be like a member of the tribe. I do think they're
Mm-hmm.
open to the public though, so anybody can go and they have like museums and stuff that you
Oh,
can
okay.
visit.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Most tribes will they will DNA test you, and you have to be like a certain percentage to be able to attain membership. Um,
But you can walk on the reservation freely. Like you can be on Native American soil and stuff like that.
Oh,
Like
okay.
more often than not, though, usually the people who are most people don't have any reason to go on like Native American land unless they're going to the casinos or the stores or stuff like the shops that they have around.
Powwows.
Yeah, the powwows. Powwows are open to the public a lot. We do have some powwows that are totally 100% Native American. We only have people from our tribe or other natives who are on it. But there are a lot that we have that are open to the public, which are held on native land.
Okay, now tell us, for us who don't know, what's a powwow?
A powwow is just like a
Oh,
celebration.
The most fun
okay.
thing you'll ever go
Oh,
to.
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So yeah, we have a bunch of different powwows every year. Our biggest powwow, I believe, is our Thanksgiving one.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, our
So the
okay.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, our
Okay.
Thanksgiving one is actually our biggest powwow, and
so
we do the whole bearing of the flag ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
the opening ceremony. Um, we have our elders come out and we do our dancing and everything like that to celebrate our heritage, our culture, the drums.
Okay.
so
Okay. Native Americans celebrate Thanksgiving?
It depends on the native.
Okay.
Some tribes will celebrate as like celebrate it for what it is, like Thanksgiving, to give thanks back to the earth, back to the land, show what you're grateful for. Some natives will actually celebrate it as like a time of mourning, for the loss,
Okay.
all that
Yeah.
happened, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It just
I was
depends on the
reading that,
tribe
and
and the person.
yeah, I was
Mhm.
reading that a lot of time. It was a time of mourning for some Native Americans. So, but some celebrate it in a joyful way.
Yeah.
Some tribes. Okay, so it depends on tribe. So all tribes are different, right? And they have different cultures, different rules, different. Uh,
Correct. Correct. So think of
oh,
each tribe as like its own like nation. So the only thing I could really think to equate it to, which it isn't really like that, but like a country. So think of each tribe as sort of like its own country,
mhm,
right? They have
mhm.
their own rules, their own traditions, their own language, stuff like that.
Okay. And I know lately it's been some push and pull with the federal government as far as tribes legal systems, whether they had to abide by the state's legal systems or if they had their own legal system. So how does that work?
So each tribe, yes, you're supposed to, each tribe has its own legal system, its own way of doing things, however they choose to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just like I said, it would just depend on the tribe. In what they choose to do. Some I can't speak for anything but Ho Chunk, but some tribes in different areas are, like you said, fighting with the states. The states
Mm-hmm.
kind of wants to be able to still tell them what to do and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and it gets kind of
Mm-hmm.
messy because like Tyler mentioned earlier, like so he's a citizen of the Ho Chunk Nation, he's a citizen of Alabama, and he's a citizen of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, with three different things, it gets kind of, tricky sometimes.
Okay. Okay. All right. What are some misconceptions that people have about Native Americans that you would like to dispel?
Uh, Mostly it's about like modern day like native stuff. The biggest one that I can think of, which I always used to get to, is like, you don't have to, natives don't have to pay
Yeah,
taxes, right? Like Native
right.
Americans don't have to pay taxes. I was
Mhm.
like, no, like I have to pay taxes like everybody else. Like nobody,
Okay.
like I said, like just because I'm a member of the Ho Chunk Nation doesn't mean that I'm not a member of the United States. I still have to pay taxes like a United States citizen. Uh,
Okay.
you get to go to college for free, and it's not like the U.S. government is giving you like all Native Americans a grant to go to college for free for being Native.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Natives are lucky enough to get a lot of help and a lot of grants and a lot of stuff from their tribes and from the nation, but that also differs from nation to nation. There are a lot of nations out there that aren't lucky enough to get any help, if just a little bit at all, and some of them are luckier than the Ho Chunk Nation is to get the help that they get, but it's not like a universal Native Americans go to college for free.
So, one thing that people often say is that Native Americans receive stipends from the government. Is that true?
No,
No.
no.
And so I know a lot of tribes have sued the federal government and they have won large settlements. I guess it fails in comparison to what has been taken from them. So are those the funds that people refer to when they say they get stipends from the government? Do some tribes give their citizens stipends?
You want to hear it?
Oh, you can.
So, so when people say tribal members are given money, it's not from the federal government. It's from the
Mm-hmm.
tribe.
Yeah.
It's from the
So
tribe. Okay.
the government likes to say, oh, we do this, the tribes have to do this, this, and this under our law. But when, it's something important like laws or water or the land or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, it's up to the tribe to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of why casinos and stuff were made, to kind of make money for the tribal members so we can all take care of each other.
Okay.
So it depends on your tribe, but some tribal members do receive what's called a per capita, and it
Mm.
comes, like I said, straight from the tribe. There's
It's from
no
the tribe,
government
not
anything
from the
involved.
government.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if there's any kind of money or help or housing or any like loans or anything like that that we get for being native, it's
Mm-hmm.
from our own nation.
It's from your tribes.
It's from
Okay.
our tribe.
Okay.
So it's never the government is looking out for Native Americans. It's the nation is helping their own people.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Jackson's, we got some questions.
Ooh, boy, do we have questions.
Blowing it up,
it,
blowing it up.
it, the comment section is blowing up. Okay, and I love this for us.
Yes.
One of the questions is, are most Native Americans avoidant of modern medicine?
Uh, Not that I'm aware of. There are probably a lot of elders who would be more so avoidant, but I think as generations go on, which I don't know if it's a good thing or not, as generations go on, I think more natives become more modernized
Mm.
and more like the people around them. But
Okay,
Yeah.
Fun
okay.
fact, did you know
Well,
that Native Americans, the medicine trillium for childbirth, that was actually a Native American medicine?
Okay.
Hmm.
okay, great. Well, thank you for that. There is a discussion going on concerning the dancing at the powwows. We see that people say that they're super fun, and the biggest question is, what is the dancing for? Why are you dancing? What is that all about?
funny enough, my mom, I don't know if you can see her in the chat, Eileen Brown.
I
Oh,
see her.
Yes, she is actually my mother.
okay.
So, yeah, she she said I actually didn't know. She said we dance for different reasons. Each dance is different. She was actually teaching me when I went back up north. We went to a powwow, and she was teaching me about the different dancers. You dance traditional and grass cutters and the bell dancers. So there's a different dance or there's a different reason for each of the different dances.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense. Someone alluded to the fact that it was sort of similar to what the Africans do? I don't know because I don't know that much about the dancing, but thank you for sharing. This question is for you, Tyler.
Hmm.
Do you have any favorite traditions that you're excited to pass down to your children?
Any favorite traditions? Uh, to answer honestly, um, I don't know like a ton about like my nation's traditions, and I actually started to try and get back into learning a lot of those traditions and learning a lot about my heritage and my history and stuff like that. So I think the one thing that I want to pass along is to basically learn alongside my wife, who does
Right.
a lot of helping me, and my kids, to learn alongside them the old ways and all of our traditions and everything like that.
Oh,
Denver is
So,
actually taking a language class
Yes,
right
we
now.
are actually relearning our
Hmm.
language.
oh, really?
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh,
So your mom, does she live on the reservation?
Uh, she does not live on the reservation, but she lives on Ho Chunk land.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the reservation, like you can live on the reservation, but there is like Ho Chunk land that is not like the reservation.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, great. Well, we have one. We've got more and more and more, and maybe we can get back to them later. But final question before we continue with the interview.
Hmm.
This is for Jasmine. Jasmine, since you're married to Tyler, does that give you citizenship to his tribe? And what about the children, the kids?
That does not give me automatic citizenship, although the love is very much present and very much there. Um, so citizenship is something that's kind of hard to gain. Like I mentioned before, you have to be like there's like a bunch of qualifications. So you have to be like a certain percentage. You have to, do this. You have to prove who your parents are. Just a bunch of different like up the ladder steps. And the same thing would go for the children. So uh, if I'm not, I could be wrong. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Ho chunk is 25%.
Okay.
So our children will fall just a little bit short, since Tyler is 50%. So our children are 30% because I'm 10%, but it's 10% unknown. So you would have to be 25% strictly Ho chunk.
Yes, because
Okay.
Hmm.
I am 50% Native American, but I am 25% Ho Chunk, which is just right
Okay.
there, and then I am 25% Ottawa.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And your mom is Ho Chunk.
She is 50, from my knowledge, she is 50% Ottawa and 50% Ho Chunk.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. 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 Oh, this is very interesting. And can is there anything, um any misconceptions or things that we have from our history? Because, like, when we were taught in school, all Native Americans wore the headdress, they wore the paint on their face, and I know that that is not the same for all tribes.
Mhm.
um are there things that we, just ideas that we put in our head, stereotypes, let me say stereotypes, that you want to clear up about Native Americans?
Yeah, yeah, I feel like that was a perfect example. You said, like, you think of the typical Native American as wearing, face paint or war paint and a headdress, and they have their, the wolf tail haircut and everything like that. But you think of people who lived, like Eskimos. Eskimos are Native Americans,
Mm-hmm.
but you wouldn't see them wearing no shirt with a headdress, running around in the middle of in the
Right.
snow, with nothing. Um, or people who lived in the natives that lived in Mexico, who were
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, you would normally, they would wear a totally different attire. Their stuff was more like flashy, bright colored, because Native Americans live off of the land. They use all of the animal that they stuff. So like a lot of their attire and what they wear and how they eat and how they build their houses is totally different. That, for example, too. So Native Americans, like not all Native Americans lived in
TPs.
teepees. Yeah,
Okay.
we actually lived in our tribe actually lived in houses called wigwams,
Mm.
which is more like a, I guess it's not like a teepee because it's not built out of animal leather, animal skin wrapped
Mm-hmm.
around a cone shape. It's more like a dome that's built with sticks as the frame or large, logs as the frame. And then you would cover it in like hay or grass and mud.
So it'd be wet mud and dirt, and then you'd top it with like hay or dried grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Eskimos are Native American.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
People
Didn't know
people
that.
who yeah, the natives that lived in the Americas, including all of North America and South America, would be considered Native Americans.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right then. So tell us about some of the many contributions. Like I was reading, like the Europeans came and they were just astonished at the technological advances and the things that Native Americans their ingenuity. And so tell us about and I know Native Americans, we all we know is corn. That's all we know. So tell us about some of the other advances and contributions.
Uh, well, I mentioned Indian tacos earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
to me, Indian tacos is my favorite. And
This food guy right here. You could only see his belly.
Tyler does not have a belly.
So as far as agriculture goes, they actually domesticated corn, beans, and squash,
Mm-hmm.
which are three of the main crops in North America. And that kind of just set the way for the whole like modern agricultural system that the U.S. has today.
Okay. Okay.
And then in modern medicine, they invented syringes, which were made from animal bladders. And then I
Okay.
mentioned Trillium earlier was actually a Native American medicine first.
Mm.
Hmm.
And I was reading oral contraceptives. Uh, thank God for Indians. I mean, excuse me, for Native Americans. Oral contraceptives. Okay. Mouthwash. Once again, thank God for Native Americans. Um,
Hmm.
but on those two things and topical anesthesias topical anesthesia. So it was just a lot of things. Of course, kayaks, rubber. Native Americans created rubber. Um,
Okay.
so it was baby bottles. It's just a lot of different things that we take for granted. Um, that Native Americans created.
The big,
And one thing that I did not know at all is that in 1907, wait a minute, let me see, was it 1907? Wait a minute. No, it was 1929, but 1907, um, Charles Curtis became the first American Native American to be in the United States Senate, but he was also vice president.
mhm.
I never knew that there was a Native American vice president.
Yeah, as far as the government systems, the coolest thing that I learned, the checks and balances system that we use now is
Mm-hmm.
actually a Native American thing. That
Mm-hmm.
came from one of the Native American tribes and actually set the whole idea for the U.S. Constitution.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I never knew that there was a Native American vice president. He was vice president under Herbert Hoover, and I was like, oh, okay. So that is just really really awesome. Um,
If I'm not
eh,
mistaken, Tyler, don't the we have a congresswoman
yeah,
in,
she's
yep, the Ho Chunk have a congresswoman in Congress right now.
the Ho Chunk
oh
specifically.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she was
Was
elected
it
in 2020.
okay?
Mhm.
And because I was just going through the timeline in the United States, and it was just a lot. Like I said, it was so many different treaties that the United States signed with the Native Americans, and then Native Americans. Then the United States would go back on their treaties, and a lot of things, a lot of lawsuits and reparations have been recently have been awarded, like in 1980, I guess, the $81.5 million settlement was for in Maine for for Native Americans. This was under Jimmy Carter for land that was taken from them, and then it was a recent one where the Native Americans won $200 million, but they refused to take the money because they said the land was never for sale. Um, and so they're like, no, you can't pay us for the land because we never put it up to sale for you. So they would not take the $200 million settlement. Um, were Native Americans ever enslaved in the United States?
There were Native Americans that were enslaved in the United States, um, but it was never to the degree that African Americans were enslaved in the United States. Um,
Okay.
it's very complicated to say too, because when like wars were breaking out in America, the
Mm-hmm.
Civil War and even wars before that, like the not the Civil War, the yeah,
French was it? Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there were Native American tribes that would pick like different sides of,
Tribes. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So there
Mm-hmm.
would be tribes warring with one another. There would be tribes enslaving each other. There would be tribes sent out on behalf of Europeans or other sides to like make captives and enslave people. So it's really hard to say whether or not just Native Americans were enslaved, but for the most part, European settlers would either enslave or use other tribes on their behalf to enslave other Native Americans.
Okay, so they pitted one tribe against the other.
Yes,
Okay.
as like a you will help you destroy this tribe you've been
Mm-hmm.
fighting for years.
Mm-hmm.
In return,
Mm-hmm.
we'll give you their land and their people.
Okay. And so how is the relationship between different tribes now?
As
Oh,
far as I know, it's more of like a like a kinship, because like I think, kind of like you said with Native Americans and Africans, most Native Americans feel the same way about how our history has been treated and how we've been treated, since European settlers have come over and taken away our culture and history and all that. So we're more like on the same team.
mhm. And I did want this to be a celebration of Native American culture, but I wanted back in, when was it, in October or was it September, Jasmine, that we wore the orange. And can you talk just a little bit about why we were wearing the orange day?
So September 30th every year, never miss
September
a
3rd.
beat, guys. September 30th, and you're invited every single year to wear
Okay.
orange for Orange Shirt Day, or what's called National Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Okay.
It started in Canada, um, and it's since been spreading throughout the U.S. Fingers crossed, it gets bigger and bigger. So an Indian residential school is uh, a school that they would call, that they would take Native American children and take them oftentimes hundreds and thousands of miles away from their families. And they called it school, and they related it to boarding school, but they never
Mm-hmm.
really learned anything. They were never taught things. They were often starved,
Mm-hmm.
beaten. Many of them would die, and they would just be buried in little shallow graves off to the side. And what it was to dim out the culture, to kind of push them in the
them
dirt
of
and then
their
stomp on
culture.
them. You know, yes, they weren't
Mm-hmm.
allowed to speak their language. They weren't allowed to talk to their parents. You know, they weren't allowed to practice tradition. And this is something that almost every tribe is still dealing with today. You know, the Ho-Chunk themselves have become big on language. They've
Mm-hmm.
built a lot of language programs, language rehabilitation, kind of get the young involved so that way we can kind of get that back and get it growing again. But many tribes have many different things that, you know, were lost or are dying
Mm-hmm.
or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just from that. I
Mm-hmm.
learned when we went back up north a couple months ago, Tyler's mother was telling me that they didn't realize they had she didn't realize her mom had another sister. They couldn't find her because
Okay.
she was part of the residential
Oh,
schools. Hmm.
oh, really?
Yep, and then
Okay.
the last one in Canada, this, you know, I want to be perfectly clear, this is not ancient stuff. This is modern day.
Modern stuff, right?
The
Right.
last one in the US closed in 1978.
Mm-hmm.
1978.
Right.
The last
So
one in
that was not long
Canada,
ago at all. Right.
right. And the last one in Canada closed in 1996.
Wow.
96. Yes. Yes. So this is all modern, you know, this is something we're still fighting with, we're still having to deal with, you know. But yeah, September 30th, you know, you're invited to wear orange in honor of Phyllis Webstad. She was a little girl that was taken to residential schools, and she was given an orange shirt by her grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And when she got there, they took the orange shirt, and like with all of their tribal things, they took it, you know, burned it, threw it away, whatever they would do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of her one memory of, you know, the residential schools that kind of stuck with her. And she's still around today. She goes and tells her story, and she attends rallies and, you know, stuff like that. But it's really an experience. I invite all of you to wear orange with us every year, September 30th.
Um, uh, and I in my reading, I saw a lot of the treaties and the things included clauses where they wanted the Native Americans to assimilate to European ways. And I'm like, man, you got some nerve. You come over here and now you want me to assimilate to what you're doing when we
Mhm.
were here living our lives, practicing our practices, our culture, minding our own business. Now you want me to assimilate to what you're doing as
So take
part of so you can give me a piece of my land that
mhm.
was mine.
So take
Um,
Thanksgiving, for example. Thanksgiving, it's actually the other way around. You know, the Europeans needed the natives' help to figure
right,
out, you know, how to grow the crops,
right.
cultivate the land, stuff like that. You know, so, you know, you really just take the time. You know, it's out there if you want to learn it, you know, but
Well, this has really been very informative. Mr. Jackson, do we have a couple of more questions before we go?
Well, not questions, just a lot, a myriad of comments.
Mhm.
There is one that I wanted to. Tracy Ross, her question was answered in the chat. Just a lot.
there we go.
What is that? I'm getting some feedback. Um,
That
they
was me.
wanted, no worries. They wanted to bring his mother-in-law.
Mercy.
Um,
Oh,
There we go.
she brought a lot of information. There was one comment here that concerning Brother Bear, the cartoon, and someone brought up the fact that is that really um, the depiction of Brother Bear, the children's movie? Are there any cultural accuracies within that film? If you are aware of Brother
Uh,
Bear.
I've never seen anyone turn someone else into a bear. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, there, there are. I mean, there are also some like falsities in it, but there is a lot of there are some truths to it. like believing in spirits, and there are a lot of tribes out there who do believe that the Northern Lights are, where our ancestors go, and they watch over us from there. Um, we do have a lot of that is one thing that's not a misconception is Native Americans do pay a lot of homage and a lot of respect to animals.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big thing for us. We actually name our clans after the animals. I'm part of the Bear Clan. So a lot of respect and a lot of the what's the word, like pride and things that we see in animals and a lot of the traits that we associate with animals, those things are true as well. So like we aspire to be, like in the movie, like, the bear of love, or the eagle that like watches out for. There are a lot of like things that we associate. Turtles, for example, are associated with longevity, coming from Native Americans that associate. We do try to aspire to be like a lot of the animals, and we associate ourselves with animals a lot.
Because of their closeness to nature, is that it?
Yes.
It would,
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it would be animals and nature together. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All righty then. So is there anything else that you guys would want us to know about Native Americans? Anything else that's an important to go on?
Actually, yes, we talked about modern day, and like you said, I don't mean to get too political, but I just wanted to kind of spread the word. There's a bill right now going that's being proposed in Congress. It's called the Truth and Healing Commission on Indian Boarding Schools Policy Act,
Mhm.
and it's S1723 HR 7727. Um, and it's basically just outlining, saying that we want, the U.S. to be truthful about what happened and just recognize it. And that way the information is out there for everybody to go and look at and to educate themselves and stuff like that. It goes a little more in depth, but, just government interference in our tribal lands and social workers, stuff like that. But you can contact your local, whatever state you're in, doesn't
Mhm.
matter. You can contact your local Congress representative, and just tell them, kind of get them to push the bill. We want this to kind of get passed as soon as possible, if you could.
Mhm. I know this year President Biden, I guess he issued a formal apology for the
Yes.
schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
The first
yeah,
president to issue a formal apology. Yes. Mm-hmm.
okay, okay.
Yes.
I remember that on September the 30th. I've been trying to keep up with stuff, Jasmine, because I know if we don't know our history, then we are destined to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
People will never
um,
learn what they don't know. That's why it's
exactly.
important to share knowledge. Knowledge is power. If they don't know it, they'll never learn it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge is definitely power. And I'm so glad to hear that Native Americans are going back and trying to um, teach their children their culture so it doesn't die out. We as African Americans need to do that as well. Teach our kids our culture, our heritage, what we, the things that brought us through and brought us over. Because all of us have been kind of forced to give up our culture and assimilate. And, that's nothing wrong with celebrating someone else's culture, but you also need to embrace and celebrate your own.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
And I think for me that's the biggest thing is for me personally as a Native American is like I want people to know that Native Americans were not an ancient history. We're still here. Ho
mhm,
Chunk, we're the people of the sacred voice, but a lot of people can read it as we're the people of the big voice. We want to speak loud and proud, say that we're still here, spread the word that about our history, our upbringing, and continue into modern day as we are, and teach our culture and our kids and everything like that.
And like I said, when we first started, it's important to me for us to know about other cultures, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're
Hmm.
all part of that. And we have more in common, more similarities than we do differences. And we should look for the ties that bind us, not the ones that separate us.
Yes. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I've told JG, one of the things that people will say is like, sometimes there are a lot of people who are, it's like it's not by the color of your skin, it's about the respect that you give to the culture. I know for me personally, I didn't grow up on the reservation, um, but I've met a lot of people who, you said the Porch Creek Indians of Alabama. I've met people who look far more European than I do, living the traditions, doing the dances, doing that. And you can see that people are just people.
Mm-hmm.
They find a way to love each other and respect each other and live the culture and respect it no matter who you are.
So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll have to continue to this conversation, because based on the number of people that I see on the live tonight, and the number of comments and the number of questions, this is something that people are interested in, and so we'll have to do this again, okay, guys? And next time, Tyler, I think they want your mom to join us, so we'll
Yeah.
have to see if we can get her in next time, okay?
All right. I'll talk to her and see what she wants to do.
All righty then. Well, thank you guys. I love you
Yeah,
all. Tell
of
Thank
course.
Ezra
you.
and Ember that I say hello. And
Absolutely.
Junior say hello. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Mr. Jackson. Well, that was awesome.
It was fantastic. It was great.
So
So,
informative.
very. So, I posted the announcements in the chat, but let me go over those. We're sort of out of time, but it's very important that I share these. Next Sunday, we will have a special guest, Joyce Duchess Thomas, who will be talking with us about living a life full of gratitude. Looking forward to that wonderful conversation. And on Sunday, December 1st, we're going to have a Shop Small Businesses for Christmas spotlight on all local small businesses. We're going to have an opportunity for you to come in and get a 5-minute snippet of your business so that we can start learning how to shop locally and boosting our local economy. So that's Sunday, December 1st. Juju asked that you shop by Juju for You for all of your Christmas gift needs. Juju has gifts for every man, woman, and child. Her favorite slogan is if it don't have by Juju for You on it, you don't want it. And we also want you to contact our wonderful friend, sister, colleague, confidant, mentor, all of the above, Joyce Duchess Thomas Vincent, who is an independent Mary Kay consultant for all of your Mary Kay needs. And please do not forget to subscribe to the Divinely Guided Podcast YouTube channel. You can absolutely see wonderful new episodes each Monday. I think they post about 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, featuring the dynamic duo of the mother-daughter team of Duchess Thomas and Adrielle Vincent. Please subscribe to Juju's Dollhouse YouTube channel. You're going to be able to keep up with everything going on with By Juju for You. Also, you're going to be able to look and view any episodes of Let's Talk that you may have missed. And of course, By Juju is a very proud sponsor of Hold Up the Light huddle. So we're looking forward to seeing you next Sunday with our special guest, Joyce Thomas Benson. And Sunday, December 1st, we'll be highlighting our Shop Small Businesses for Christmas Spotlight. Juju, back to you.
All right, Mr. Jackson, thank you guys so much for joining. This has been it just has been a wonderful show. I'm so sorry we didn't get to everybody's comments, but I thank you for all the comments, and I thank you for supporting Let's Talk. It just means the world to me. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for your excellence as always. And I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. I am walking by faith. I am inspiring hope, and I am showing love all along the way. And until next time, guys, I wish each of you much love and many blessings. Good night. I can't do that, Mr. Jackson. Good night.